Hi there viewers, welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on our television network. Today we have traveled to the Community of California and we are here at the Central FC main office to chat briefly with the Managing Director Brent Sancho and the Operation Manager Kevin Harrison. Remember, this team 3 years going into the third year in the season, actually they have performed winning the Lucasade Cup Shield last year and also the FCB Cup, and much is expected of this team. So we're going to take a short break, and when we return we're going to be speaking to the Managing Director Brent Sancho. So stay locked on to Scoreboard right here on Axe 25. Hi viewers, welcome to Axe Television Network, welcome to the home of Central FC. And we are here this morning to chat with the Managing Director Brent Sancho. We're going to be talking about the past season, which was very successful for this team, and also what's ahead for the new season. And Brent, it's always a pleasure to have you in our company.
Pleasure is mine. Welcome to Central FC.
Yes. I think this is the second time I'm here. The first time I came here was with when you had your first coach, Graham Ricks.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point to really start with. Going into the third year of football, Central FC, in just under 2 years, I would say, you all have accomplished a lot. FCB Cup, Lucasade Goal, and a couple finals. You all have qualified for the CONCACAF, and you all are one of the teams up there with who can be considered one of the best teams presently. I remember when this team was now trying to get together, you all had a little difficulties not knowing if you all are going to be in the Pro League. I came up to, I think it was Constantine Park, to do an interview with you all. And there was so much of little problems that you all face. Looking back now, going into the third year, how do you feel presently?
Well, I'm still in shock. I mean, to be honest with you, when we look back at the inception of the club and when we first started it, we've always had lofty goals and aspirations as a football club. I think I am very fortunate to have such a dedicated staff, coaching and office staff that really work beyond and beyond the call of football. And because of that, I think we've been able to take the club to the heights that we've wanted to take it to. Like anything else, as you rightfully said, there is transitional period where things are a little bit difficult. But we've always set goals for ourselves. I think that's the main thing. We have set goals and goals that we feel that we can attain as a football club, and we have stopped to nothing in trying to attain these goals. And as I've said to my staff and I've said to the players as well, it's not about Brent Sancho or anybody else in the club, it's about Central FC, and all the decisions made at this football club is made with the club's benefit or welfare first. So because of that, we've been able to attain moderate success so far. It has been a learning period, I would say. It's always difficult for anybody, of course, for me being a former player and moving into management. And you have to, there's no blueprint or there's no manual that says you need to do X, Y, or Z. A lot of it is a learning curve to it, and I felt that has helped me. You have to learn quick and learn fast, and as I said at the beginning, I'm very fortunate to have such a very good staff, or good people around me who I think have helped build this club as we've gone along.
Now, I remember the first year when you all started, you had Graham Ricks as the coach, and then you changed from Graham to Fenwick. last year has to be undoubtedly the most successful and rewarding year in the league so far. Now, you all have changed coach yet again. A couple of the players from last year, we do expect to see them because once a club is thriving and doing good, you find that the market it opens up for these players. So you're all going to be, gaining players and losing players. Going back to last year, when this season actually started, did you all actually foresee that you all would have made so many finals and come away with 2 major titles?
I'd be lying if I tell you no. I think when we sat down, we felt we would win everything. That is the attitude and the hunger and desire and passion of this football club, that we want to partake in every finals and win. We want to be the best club, not just in Trinidad, but in CONCACAF. And when you listen to our staff meetings and the conversations that we have in this football club, we believe that we are the best club in this country, and it's not taking away anything from anybody else. But that is the belief in the club, and that's the feeling. And we work very, very hard to attain these goals and to try and strive and be successful. At the beginning of the season, we've always felt that if we do things right off the pitch, it will seep on the pitch, and that's what we try to do. We worked very hard in putting together a squad. I tried to give Terry as much assistance in terms of bringing in the right players for him, and we were very successful in doing that. And as well as off the pitch, we were able to make sure that we continue to build in terms of professionalism off the pitch and make sure that there was no stone left unturned in terms of the level of professionalism. As I mentioned to you before, we're very fortunate to have a coaching staff with so many players that have played at a high level, or coaches or administrators that have been around associations, clubs, whatever, tournaments at a high level. So we all know what to expect without having a slave driver, for lack of a better word, over them. And because of that, we were able to gain success because we were able to attract so many talented players. And I think a lot of people feel that may feel that we have an abundance of money. We were just very clever in the way we did our business, our footballing business. We attracted a lot of players that played for what may be considered way under their value, simply because they wanted to be part of an organization that was doing well. And because when you couple these facts and as I said to you, an organization that is passionate about winning, then you would start seeing the kind of effects that we've had on the pitch. And I think as well, George, I think what we've done off the pitch, I'm even more proud of that.
That was my next question, because I mean, besides we could sit here and talk about all what you have done, on the football field, trophies and everything. But the tremendous amount of work that you all have done in communities in the short space of time. I don't know if you want to touch briefly on that.
And that's what it's been about. I think once we started this football club, we've realized, and I think that anywhere in the world, that a football club is the pillar of its community, the mecca of any community, and we felt it very, very imperative that we do a lot of work in the community. I think when we talk to players about signing with our football club, we don't even sometimes talk about football. We talk about all the work that we do in the community and the importance that they realize that they play a very integral role in developing our communities around us. And we've done a lot of work here in the California community, where we have done a toy drive for Christmas, delivering well over 2,000 toys to the kids of California, Dow Village, etc., and even going as far as up to Cheese Village and delivering those toys. And to be fair, George, we've been very fortunate to have corporate partners, SIS in particular, that understand the club and understand the importance
of the work in
the community is about, and they have been extremely supportive. I mean, yes, SIS and the other companies, PPGLs, the GZs, I mean, people and they've bought into it. I mean, there's a lot of argument about there's not corporate money in football, but since we've been involved in football, we've raised a hell of a lot of money in terms of getting corporate Trinidad involved. And it's not about what is happening on the pitch, but we have done a tremendous amount of work off the pitch, and it's not we do it for doing its sake. We do it because we realize the importance that a football club has to its community. You look at our youth teams and the areas that these kids come from, the Crown Trace, the Chrissy Trace, and the mere fact that these kids, that is their life. And if we don't interact and able to do things in the community and draw these kids away from the elements that plague these communities, we would never be a successful football club. We wouldn't be doing our due diligence or CSR as a football club. And that is a very, very important part of being a football club. Winning trophies is good, but I think winning lives and saving kids and developing the community is even more important.
And that's a way of now building your support base. Because as I always say, you have so many teams in the Pro League, but how many of them you hear actually, do something within the community? Hence the reason why when you go to a game, you will see the team playing, but you wouldn't see any support base, right? Do you have an idea how large your support base is right now?
Well, I know in terms of, we have Facebook pages and our internet sites, and we have well over 3,000-4,000 hits a week. We have a huge community in Caldrax, California that supports us. I mean, for me to guesstimate, I would say probably around 4,000 or 5,000 people I know that support the club.
And then you're looking at basically under 3 years of
under 3 years of work. And as you rightfully say, I think it's because we put ourselves out there. We went out there and have gone and sought a relationship with this community. We've not gone and said, look, we're Central FC, you need to come and support us. We say, we are part of you, we are you. And we've made a lot of people in the community. And even when you look at what we've done, we have employed people in the community, we have gotten them involved in the club on various levels and made them feel part of it. Because at the end of the day, when we started this football club, it was never about me or Kevin Harrison or anybody, it was about the community. And we said that from the very early. This is not a gentleman's club or some kind of a secured. It is open to everyone, and we've made it very open to everyone, and we continue to do that. And as we build as a club, we want to, it's still parts of it that we want to develop. We want to make sure that our youth and our CSR, we've even gone into disabled and ladies football. So we want everything to be all encompassing, because there's so many. The sports is an entity that touches so many lives, and I think it's one of the most important ways of people of expressing themselves, and we realize that we as a professional sports organization, we have a very, very important role in this community, and we take it very seriously, so much so that we plan months and sometimes a year in advance for some of the activities that we want, because we want to make sure that things are done in the right way in our communities.
Now we're going into the 2014-2015 Pro League. My opinion of Central FC is that I think that this season going to be a tough season for you all, because much is going to be anticipated from you all from last year, plus you all have to start preparing for the CONCACAF. Right now, a couple of players from last year, who have gotten transferred, who have gotten, better deals, wouldn't be with the team. How prepared is this team going into this new season?
I'll answer the same thing I've answered every year. I think we are optimistic, quietly optimistic of our chances. We have worked extra hard this season. I mean, I would be lying to you that more than any other season. Not because we felt that we've lost players. I think we've done very well in the market in terms of not so much bringing in new faces, but keeping a lot of our talented players. When you look at the likes of the Leston Pauls, the Shawnee Silvers, Atula Guerra, Dwight Quintero, Darren Mitchell, John Michael Williams, those are players that I think are Marvin Oliver, Jason McCannell, to name a few. Those are very, very talented players that have done very well in this league. And the mere fact that we're able to keep them, and I mean, I think we've been able to keep at least 70 to 80% of our squad, just shows the fact that these boys believe in what we're building. They've had offers at other places, they've had the opportunities to go overseas, and they've all decided to stay with Central FC because they believe in the vision of the club. We've obviously brought in a new coach. One of the things that we realized very early, before we started the coach, that there were deficiencies in the football team last season that we wanted to work on. In particular, our speed, our strength, our agility. We've brought in a specialist in Gregory Seals to work with the club, and so far in the pre-season, you have seen the results, which has been good. And I think that's one of the things that we were short on last year, which I think you would see more of this year that we have developed. In terms of players coming in, I'm really excited with the young players that we are now bringing through. The likes of the Garcia brothers, both Levi and Nathaniel, Nicholas Dillon, Javon Sample, Kevin Goddard, all who play with the national youth teams who we've brought in as well. So when you look at these guys and you match them with what we had last year, you know, and the work we have put in this year, I think we're quietly optimistic of doing well. The Pro League is one league that is a lot of parity in it. I think we've realized that with some of the results we've seen last year. And at any given day, any team could spring a surprise. I think what we bring in terms of the coaching staff, with Zoran Vanish, I think he's a man that doesn't need any introduction in terms of what he's accomplished in this country. And because of that, we feel very confident in him. And also the coaching staff we have around him. We have Dale Saunders, of course, who coaches with the under-20. Tony Roger is also assisting as well. And obviously Mark Leslie, Kevin Jeffries. So when you look at what we have compared to what we've had last season, and you know, everything is always transitional and always moving. Football is a fluid movement sport. I think we've done a lot of work, and I'm very happy with the work we've put in, and we're very confident in how we can move the club forward. We want to challenge this year for every single trophy. We want to move forward from the Caribbean Club Championship onto CONCACAF successfully, and we don't want to just show up in CONCACAF. We want to win games and push forward as far as we can in CONCACAF, and we have a year plan, a 2-year plan in terms of how we want to do this. So the work has been done. I mean, I know Kevin and I probably have no nights or no rest. I don't think we've had a vacation the past 3 years because it's
amazing to see him at the games. You know, I mean, you see him here, then you see him here. He's just, I think he's supposed to be one of the most fittest person on the team.
And then off the pitch as well. I mean, we do a lot of work. We've been planning from a year before in terms of the work we have put in. We've not had any vacation, and not had any holidays because we felt that we needed to work extra hard to make sure that we continue with the success that we've had on the pitch and off the pitch last season to even go further than what we did. So as I say, once you're moving ahead, you always have to try and work harder to keep going ahead, and that's what we've done this year. And as I said, I think we're quietly optimistic with our chances. Okay,
we are yet to see the Pro League games actually being moved into the communities, right? And that's something that you hear a lot of people still, you know, want to see. Do you have hopes that maybe coming this year we might be seeing some games at community venues?
I think it's an important part to get involved with the communities and of course play games. I think what we need to be cognizant of the fact that the facilities that we have in the communities may not be conducive to professional football,
rooms and, you know, things,
and it may hinder the product that is the Pro League or that is the football. And if we can alleviate some of that, we live in a country where we put up floodlights anywhere we can without looking after the surface and the actual facility. But in saying that, there are some facilities, I think, within the communities that can facilitate a possible one-off Pro League game. We have played a lot of our pre-season games within our communities by intention because, as I said, we want to continue to engage our communities. And they appreciate that. Even last year, we played a FA Cup game in our community, a new settlement in Caroni Savannah Road, an area which we've become quite close with. And we've seen the results of that. And I agree with you. We would love, as much as the Pro League clubs would benefit and would see some sort of residual benefits from it, we have to be cognizant of the fact of the actual facilities and whether or not it will hinder the actual product. But that being said, I know it's a challenge with the league with the facilities we have now because most of them are not in condition for they've either closed or in the process of being closed for renovations. So the Pro League is facing a challenge in terms of the grounds, and of course you have secondary school football, you have Super League. So there's a lot of football that is going on in not a lot of venues. And it is miraculous because we only a couple of years ago hosted our Under-17 World Cup to see that we're in this kind of a situation. And it really calls for a real review from the government level or the ministerial level as to how we do things in this country, how we approach. I've always been an advocate of having these mini stadiums in communities because it benefits, and I think the club should be the ones looking after these stadiums because at the end of the day, that is how you raise money, that's how you become self-sufficient, and that's how clubs be able to come off of the surrogate that is the subvention. They have to realize that what is the chartered financial part for a football club to be successful, and for them to be successful, it has to be where they own their own. If you look around this league, I don't think there's any club that owns anything.
Yeah.
That is not good. We have to get off of the surrogate, and the only way it can is that we look at another avenue of making football self-sufficient, or football clubs self-sufficient, through facilities within the communities.
Could we expect to see Central FC maybe in short term their own venue?
I hope so. I mean, that's one of the goals that we have. Football is a business, as you know, and professional football is a business. This is not about T-shirts and coolers and that kind of stuff. It's about long-term projections, and obviously in any business you try to come with a profit line, and football is no different for us. So, and one of the ways we see ourselves being financially self-sufficient is owning our own facility. Assets obviously goes on the positive side of any books and any accounts, whether you're selling burgers or you're selling jerseys. Once you have assets, it becomes a positive, and it's no different for a football club. And if you were to pull apart football in this country, one of the things that you need to own is your own facility. You have to have, and it's very difficult for a fan in California or in Dow Village to show up at the Atobolo Stadium and realize the game get cancelled the day before. And that is the challenge that the Pro League faces.
And that has happened
a couple of times. And if you own your own facility, like any sporting organization in the world, they would give you a fixture in August until next May. That's the only way you can market football games. That's the only way you can get people to become supporters of your football club. It's very challenging for us as a club to know that we're trying to market games and it get moves around, change around. No fault of the Pro League. Obviously, we are dealing with a separate entity that owns these stadiums. And once we could own your own facility, and not just a football stadium, you could start looking at to hire it out for different occasions and obviously make it a money earner. And I think that is the only way football could survive. The government spends a hell of a lot of money into these clubs, and I think we need to revisit how this money is spent, not just as a surrogate to keep them on a lifeline, but also to give them money that could now become a capital that could be an impetus to push clubs forward to becoming financially self-sufficient. What
can the public of Trinidad and Tobago expect from Central FC in this new season?
I think you'd expect, from what I've seen on the pitch, hard-working, honest football team that goes out to play every game to win. I was really proud of some of the pre-season games I've seen so far. The work ethic is extremely high within the bunch. Professionalism is extremely high. And we are a football club with lofty ambitions, and we work very, very hard on and off the pitch. You continue to see a high level of community activities within the club. We are taking it up to another level in terms of the community outreach that we have. This year we are looking to put together a disabled camp for disabled kids. We're going to continue with our projects in the women's side of football, Treat Her Like a Lady, and of course the women's camp. We're also talking about doing obviously the breast cancer football and the women's side of things, and we'll continue to work with the different old age homes and often the orphanages. We're about to do a donation to St. Michael's boys that have just moved over to YTC. So we're going to up the ante in terms of community events, because we feel now we have a greater responsibility for football club to start even giving more, because we are more of a known entity, and people are now looking for us for assistance, and we need to do more on that side of things. And both sides, we want to be successful and continue to be successful. And for us, success is not just measured about how many cups and trophies we win, but also how well we develop our community of Central Trinidad. And I think if we could continue, I think the dream for us one day that we could have all 11 footballers from Central Trinidad, I think we would have done our job and more. And that is the kind of things. And this season in particular, we want to go out and strive to be successful, and nothing less than winning and doing well is what we want to do.
Looking back at the last 2 years, going into the third year, what would you say is your biggest disappointment, if there's any?
I think to be honest with you, is not achieving some of the goals we set out. Like anything in life, you have your ups and downs. As I said, we're very fortunate to have such a good staff on and off the pitch, coaching and office staff. And because of that, we've been able to maintain a certain level that we've always wanted to. I think in terms of disappointment, we want to win every football game, and I sit here and I can remember probably every loss we've had going back. So I think as a managing director, some of the losses we've had, but I think in all we've been successful. I know a lot of people would say that it's only been 3 years and we've done so much in 3 years. I would say the opposite. I say we could do more, and it's simply because that we've set out to do more, and we feel that we could do more because we have the wherewithal and the belief that we could do more, and that is the only thing, is that we want to do more as a football club, and I would like to see us attain more of the goals that we've had set out from before, and continue to be, as I say, the top club, or the club to look at in terms of professionalism, not just in this country but in the Caribbean and by extension CONCACAF. So for us, we want to strive to do more. We've won a couple of trophies last year. We want to win more this year, and continue to move forward. And for me, that is a good sign of progression, is that we continue to move forward.
What is your biggest accomplishment that you hold dearly?
Keeping this football club running. I think that is our biggest accomplishment, without any help from the government or any other subvention. Still, I think that is a testament to
maybe things might change now.
Well, we and that's the thing, we don't plan for government assistance. Okay. When you look at our budgets, when you look at all that we want to do, none of it is inclusive of government help. Okay. And it's not a slight on the government in any way, form. I think they've done tremendously well for the Pro League, the government. But for us as a football club, we have been very, very, very good in terms of having relationships with corporate Trinidad, and I'm very, very proud of what this club have attained so far. When you look at the lengthy list of partners that we have in corporate Trinidad, I think it's a testament to the marketing and the people in the office and the players and the staff that corporate Trinidad wants to partner with Central FC. When you look at some of the different sports and what they have to go through in terms of funding, we could safely say that we've never really gotten anything from the government. We have done a lot of what we've done through corporate assistance, and we're very fortunate that we continue to attract corporate Trinidad to want to be part of us, and I think that is a massive accomplishment, more than any other trophies or anything that we've done. It's simply that they've kept this club running simply on corporate Trinidad believing in a sport that some may consider not good to invest in from a corporate hindsight. So I mean, we've done a remarkable job in doing that, and to continue to do that, and to see that there's still people that want to partner and even get more involved, I think it's a testament to the club itself.
Well, Brent, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And I mean, one thing I could say is that I have the opportunity to see where the club started and where you are all today. From the start. I remember the first interview very well, and I know the struggles and everything, and we have seen the progress through the years, and one thing I must compliment you all is that work in the community. I mean, that, besides the football playing on the field itself, that is a tremendous effort that you all are doing, right? And I hope that the rest of clubs each can adopt a community, right, and do the same. I think it will bring a lot to the football. You know. So again, all the best to you, and we look forward to exciting year in football.
Hope so.
We hope that you are, besides these two trophies, next year when I come, I want to see.
It might be able to sit down here, sit down in front.
Again, to you, the coaching staff, to the entire staff, I want to wish you all the best.
Problem. Thanks for having us.
Well, there you heard it from Brent Sancho, the managing director of Central FC. We are at the Central FC head office in California, and we hope that the supporters and the ones who would like to support an exciting football team will go out and support this team, and we will see much more of Brent Sancho and these guys from Central FC.
Black Belt Martial Arts Supply. We carry uniforms for Pro Force, Gladiator Karate, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, and many more. We also carry books and DVDs for all types of martial arts, training equipment, swords, bow staffs, sais, kamas, and much, much more. We have affordable prices on all color belts, products for men, women, and children. For more information, call Nadia at 1-868-623-2368 or 623-7203. We're open from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you'd like to contact us via the web or email, you can write us at blackbeltmartialarts@mail.tt. We are Black Belt Martial Arts Supply.
And we have joining us the operations manager, Mr. Kevin Harrison. Kevin, it's a pleasure.
George.
And I mean, Kevin, you have been with this club from day one. I remember the first time I came here, well, not really here, but I came to do the interview at somewhere in Tonopuna.
I think it's Couva South, wasn't it? We did a charity football match, I think.
No, that was when you were now getting the team together with Graham Hicks. And, you know, looking back now, Kevin, over these years, as you sit here with us this morning, tell me your own feeling pertaining to this Central FC organization.
God, well, we're coming into our third year. We imagined it would get easier, but it doesn't. The work rate, I think, has increased off the pitch and on the pitch. Certainly for Brent and myself, the more successful we're becoming, the harder it's getting, because you have so many expectations to live up to. We don't really get, literally, it's 7 days a week, and we'll be talking at 11, 12 o'clock at night still, so it's ongoing. But you can take a step back and say, well, you know, we're known now as a football club, people know us, we've established ourselves, we've established the brand, not just in Trinidad, but in the Caribbean. We've even had people from the world of football talking to us from England about being involved in the club. So the brand is building, and it's going in the right direction. I think now it's a lot harder with players, because you remember the first days, and literally when we first started, even if a guy only had one leg, we would have signed him. And no disrespect to the players we had then, but you know, we weren't really in the position to choose. Now we have the opposite problem, where we're trying to say, well, you know, this guy's good, and this guy's good. Which one should we go for? And we have a lot of players approach us far more than we can sign, which is nice. It's a great position to be in. And I think what I feel proudest about is that people have bought into the Central FC concept. People look at us and say, well, we've only been going 2 years, and they appreciate what we've achieved. And when you go and talk to corporate Trinidad, people you wouldn't associate with football, people who've never been involved in football, and you sit down with them, and before you can say anything, they'll say, well, we saw you do this, we saw you do that. We spoke to somebody the other day, very big brand in Trinidad, and the first thing they said to us was that, treat her like a lady, we think that's wonderful. Yeah,
I remember, yes, I know. That was one of the...
And these are people that are not associated with football in any shape or form, but they've been attracted to the club because of what we do. Excuse me, now it's no secret, we're kind of using the community aspect and all the charity work we do, etc., because we want to attract attention, because people don't seem to be attracted by the football. And this is our heart goes out to clubs like Caledonia and St Anne's Rangers and North East Stars, because they're all doing a very, very good job. They're all working hard, but the sponsors aren't coming on board. We saw the women's national team Tuesday night, and we're here again. You know, they just want drinks. They're asking for drinks. I mean, come on, Trinidad, you know. But for some reason, the football doesn't attract people, so we have to find a way of getting them involved in Central FC, and we found a successful formula, and I think that it's something that other clubs should look at and say, well, maybe we should do the same thing, because I know that people can't rely on the government, because government policies change, things happen like live sport, which puts a hold on money, and if you're dependent on that money, what do? You know, we can't have players, potentially international players, not being paid and being out of work, and you know, we hear stories of players now that might not be able to play this season because of situations, and that can't help the national team, that can't help the development of football. So there's a number of issues far above Central FC that need to be addressed, but we're trying to deal with what we can control. And I think it's satisfying to know that whatever happens with government funding, etc., and I'm sure it will come back in abundance, because I know the government are very supportive of football, but it doesn't affect us. If we can get some government funding, we've got money, we need to use it, we would love it. But if it doesn't come, we just cut back a few projects, and we will still carry on. So
Because that's what you all have been doing for the past 2 years.
Well,
because,
that's right.
Because you all have not received any subvention from the government like the other Pro League teams. When you look back now at Central FC doing so well, not receiving any subvention from the government, but other teams, getting, no fault of theirs, but they are not actually doing anything within a community. Or they play football, when football plays, that's it, right? I mean, do you all think it's fair to you all?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have to say that the Pro League as an entity, the product is getting better and better every year, I feel the games are more exciting, there's competition, we're developing great players and you're seeing them move over. I mean, and it's very hard to move players overseas because of the work permit situation in Europe, the restrictions in the MLS. So it's hard to move players, but the Pro League as an entity is moving players. So that shows you how hard we're working. For the individual clubs, I feel one of the problems is that it's how you build your club, if you like. With Central FC, we built it with a foundation of let's say business. So before we employed any players, we had obviously myself and Brent. We had people on board that could go out and find business that can attract money.
Yeah.
We've got people working on the websites and the branding, etc. So that's the important thing. Now, if you look at other teams, how they've come about, and I'm not going to pick any names, but there's teams that have applied, for instance, to join the Pro League, and they're teams that have been around for years at maybe a semi-professional level. So you have a coach that's running the team, and he's responsible for everything. And well, with respect to them, their first priority is football. That's what they're there for. They're saying, like, we can get these players, we can win games, and we can play matches here. But they don't realise they're coming into the business world, and it costs millions of dollars a year. So they need to have people employed to do specific tasks like marketing and promotion. Without that, it's like playing football without a goalkeeper, because a goalkeeper is a specific position you need in the team. And in a business, you need someone to be working 7 days a week on your brand promotion, attracting sponsorships, etc. So the clubs have evolved without that element. And now this is where it's catch-22, because they've got no one to go out and get the business, because they haven't got enough money to pay someone.
Yeah.
If they had the money to pay someone, he could go and get more business and they get more money. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation they're in. What they need to do perhaps is say, well, we'll employ 3 less players and bring in a marketing man. But if you're football orientated, you're not going to do it about your 3 players.
Yeah, because all you're seeing is the football on the field within games.
And again, when Central FC started, although we said we would like to finish in the top 3 or the top 4 or whatever, winning on the field wasn't a major priority. Sustainability and longevity is the main. And even this year, I mean, we've got a great squad, but we could have got a Jamaican international wanted to come, and we had a guy from Panama, and now we could have broken the bank and got these guys on board. But we have to realise that winning isn't everything. It's important, of course it's important. It's a game of football. You want to win a game. You want to win trophies. But the important thing is that we're here this time next year talking to you again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the most important thing. So I feel that when people look at professional football, they need to come from a different approach. The coaches, fine, concentrate on your football, but you need to have a business element that's saying, how do we feed the coaches? How do we keep them in business? And I think that's where we've achieved certain aims maybe that other clubs haven't. And again, to sit there and say, well, okay, let's go and do a community event, you can't just do it. It takes planning, you need organisation, you need transport, you need this, you need that. So if you're running a football club and you're doing 5 or 6 days a week training, you haven't got the time to do it. I mean, you look at some of these clubs like North East Stars. Darren Mojave is a businessman, he owns a business, okay? He also owns North East Stars. Yeah. David John Williams owns a construction company, he also owns W Connection. And Richard Thackeray owns a business, he also owns... So they've got 2 things. Brent and I, this is our job, this is what we own, this is our business. We don't have any ancillary business. This is, we can give it 100%. Now,
this is the core business, the football.
Exactly. So people like Darryl, David John Williams, Richard Thackeray, they have other commitments. They have
you call those things, and you could easily add in police to them and defense force, because remember they're employed.
Yeah, but I find that we'll deal with them separately, because I feel that the three I've mentioned, and even, you know, they have employees outside of football.
Okay.
They have lots of employees. I mean, I know Darryl Harvey at Japs have lots of employees. He's got to look after all of those and look after the football team. We don't have to look after anybody apart from Central FC, so it's easier for us.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I've seen people like Darryl, and I'm sure David John Williams is the same. When he gets home from a game, he's then got to deal with his business again. You know, these people are putting their hands in their pockets to keep football afloat, and they should be applauded for what they're doing. But it's not easy, because they're juggling all the time. They have so many commitments, so much pressure. We only have the football club, so we're lucky. You know, I mean, I'm sure Brent's the same, but the family side of things, that's where we get our knocks, because we don't see enough of our families, and we get, you know, our wives having a go at us. But this is our business, so we can give 100% to the business. So we're fortunate in that way. With army and police, it's a different scenario, because, as I understand it, if you play football for the army, you're paid to be a soldier, and your duties are to play football. Okay. Now I know you have other duties as well, but their main duty is to play football. What they've got is they've got security, and they've probably got better facilities. That's their advantage. I guess the disadvantage they've got, in a way, is that they can be called on to do other work. But then don't forget, our players are called on to do other work too. They're footballers, not painters, but they come and paint. Yeah. They come and collect food, and they do this and do that. So, you know, I'm sure our players, if you look at it, probably do as much work outside of football as army or police. So I mean, you know, it's much of a muchness, but it's football in Trinidad's not easy. It's not easy, because I feel probably you don't have the roots that other countries have, where you would have, like, to give you an example, and I'll shout a name like, say, Carib or Digicel. Back in the 1800s, Digicel or Carib, or like Wassa, for instance, would have a football team. And when people finish work on a Saturday afternoon, they would all go and watch football. They go and watch their mates playing football. But it wouldn't just be 50 people, 100, there'd be thousands of people. And everybody in that area that were given jobs by those employers, they would all come and watch. And that's why, if you look at Barcelona, Camp Nou is right in a working class area. Anfield, Old Trafford, they're all in working class areas, because that's where their roots are. And that's something that we don't have, because if you was a Manchester United supporter and you were saying, well, I think I'm going to go and watch Manchester United play at the weekend, and you say, oh, where are they playing this week? Oh, I know they're at home, but I've got no idea where that is. It could be there, or it could be there. You know, that won't work. It's got to be, you going to Old Trafford at the weekend? Yeah, I'm going to go to Old Trafford. You're going to go to Stamford Bridge at the weekend? You know, that's your home. That's why it's called a home. We don't have a home. No one has a home. So, I think Brent was saying before, it's crazy to think that someone like Caledonia will play a home match in Cuba.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it at this point, but that's why I feel people don't come out. They can't connect. They can't just say, I'm going to walk down and watch the game.
Yeah.
They've got to, you know. So I mean, that kind of community sense needs to be developed, and you can only do it by having a football ground in the community. And it can't be a savannah. It needs to be a football ground. It needs to be secure. It needs to have a pitch that's perfect. You need to be able to collect money. You need to be able to have concessions. You need to be able to hire it out and use it as an income generator. So, at the end of the day, the only way forward is to have, as we call them, little mini stadiums. And if I were the man with all the money in the country, I would say each regional corporation should have let's call it a mini Wembley. Small stadium that maybe 3,000 people. It is a stadium. All the big intercol matches can play there. All the zonal matches can play there. Super League matches can play there. But also priority is given to the Pro League. So Pro League matches in your community.
Maybe we should nominate you for a political party and try to get you as the next Prime
Well,
Minister of the country.
I mean, I don't mind sort of like standing up and forming my own political party, but no one will ever vote for me. So I mean,
you never know. You never know.
No, I'm too extreme. I want things like police to stop speeding motorists instead of watching them go past. So you know, I'm, you know, don't get me on that.
Now, operation manager. This year is going to be a tough year for you all.
Yes.
I mean, much is expected. You all have big tournaments outside there. Where do you see the problems or issues arising with Central FC? Or are there any, you know, in the 4C?
We have a major issue with our players. Major issue. We've got too many good players and we can only have 11 on the pitch. So first of all, our coach has got a hard job this year because people are going to be shuffling position. If you just started to name our midfield, now let's say we put Sean De Silva, Leston Paul, Atulagira. Okay, well that sounds good.
Yeah.
But what about Darren Mitchell? Darren Mitchell was fantastic. If you see, there's no better sight in Trinidad football than seeing Darren Mitchell running with the, I mean, he's so fast and he's exciting. But then we have Caden Gabriel, you have Marvin Oliver, the old Warhorse, he's still there. And then we have people like Elijah Manners, John Luke Rochford. I mean, the list is going on. And already you're thinking, well, hang on, you've got 11 midfielders. You know, Jamal Jack will be coming back in Christmas from loan. So the major problem is how do we get these players from football? How do we get them on the pitch? But other than that, I'm not going to say I'm arrogantly confident. I feel that we can certainly again challenge for a top 2 position in the Pro League. I always think cups are a one-off. I mean, a good day or a bad day, you know. I think the team that's taken the most points off of us since we've started is Police. They seem to be the hardest team for us to play. So how do you figure that out? So there's no easy games, but I see going out overseas, I feel that we have a very good chance of being Caribbean champions. Personally, I expect us to be Caribbean champions. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I want. And I want us to bring that trophy back and say, well, we're now Caribbean champions. We're now going to go into CONCACAF. And you know, you'd be realistic. We're not going to beat New York Red Bulls necessarily. We're not going to necessarily beat LA Galaxy or whatever. But I would say my ambition, if we got to CONCACAF, would be to at least get some points on the board and let people know that Trinidad is here. That you know, you're going to know where Trinidad is by the time we finish with it. You know.
You have made Trinidad your home.
Yep.
Looking back now, since you've come to Trinidad to the present, tell me how you feel.
Hot. Hot all the time. I mean, there's certain things that I mean, adjusting is difficult. You know, I'm used to be able to sort of in a situation where if I need to find let's say a plumber or a carpenter or a dentist, I can just go and do it. You know, and here I find I don't know anybody and everything takes time. And I mean, I haven't had a chance to go to the dentist. I want to go to the dentist, but I just don't have time to find one and whatever. Transport, getting anywhere is difficult. About a public transport system is very frustrating. And again, I think that hurts our football as well. If you could just get on a bus or a train, you know, it'd be easier.
Straight to our venue.
I mean, I was saying the other day, I used to do five meetings a day in London because I could go on the subway. No traffic, just go on the subway, easy. Here it's a nightmare. But I think, I mean, I love the country, I love the people, I love the attitude. I feel there's so much more that can be accomplished. And I feel that really most Trinidadians don't know what they've got. And if they could really harness what we have got and put the right people in charge, the only way is up. But as I say, at the moment, I think that to me, my only problem is the heat. And you wouldn't change anything? No, I don't think so. No, I think I'm happy with it. Kevin, it was indeed a pleasure. Thank you very much. And let me hope that this year, Central FC could be, you know, even more successful as the previous year. We have seen the struggles, we have known the history, where you all have come from to where you all are today. And those who don't know might have other things to say, but this is a well put together, orchestrated football club. It's a business. And in a football club, you must have the business aspect first
before the football, else the football is not going to survive. So we have seen what you all have done. We appreciate what you all have done in the communities, for the elderlies, for the children, and we hope that you all will continue playing that integral part in communities, and we wish you all the best for the new season.
Thanks so much, George.
Well, there you heard it from the operations manager, Kevin Harrison. And as I said, we were at the Central FC offices in California, chatting with both Brent Sancho and Kevin Harrison, and we want to wish them all the best. As we wrap up here, we hope that you did enjoy this segment of Scoreboard, and at the end of this program, we're going to leave you with some highlights of some of the games Central FC played last year. So we hope that you can stay tuned to Acts 25 and keep locked on to Scoreboard. See you next week.
napata mafuta kukao ten